speakers, deputy speakers, and especially my dear friend, deputy speaker Alexander from Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. It's a very pleasure to have you here today with us. Let me start by saying that for a long time now there is an impression that democracy in Europe has reached a significant stage of development. Democratic institutions are accepted and established throughout the continent, and all the more Europeans are guided by the values of democracy in their daily lives. However, at the same time, we are facing a major distrust in the political institutions and decline in voter turnout, which lead to a growing democracy deficit in both established and young democracies. Participation in formal political institutions continue to decline, while citizens' attention focuses on the issues beyond the control of state authorities and taking place outside the traditional institutions of collective politics. Even though certain dose of skepticism is good for democracy, the declined trust in the political institutions is a menace because it promotes the gap between the citizens and the government. Exclusions of the entire social groups from political life is a big concern of contemporary European democracy, bringing into question one of the basic principles of political equality. Although this was not the case until recently, the last parliamentary elections in Montenegro show that people in my country are also in a way fed up with politics and constant elections, which resulted in the lowest turnout ever. Democracies around the world have been under attack of populism, inflammatory rhetorics, the spread of misinformation, and the incitement of hate speech for years. This has especially come to the fore in the last few years since the outbreak of COVID pandemic and the Russian aggression on Ukraine. In such conditions, we faced a gap between necessity for parliaments to be institutions that would reflect the will of citizens and the intentions of individuals or entire political elites to use parliaments for their own promotion and personal gain. For this reason, it is particularly important to point out the need to restore the role of parliaments as key democratic institutions that enact laws and other important acts. Parliaments must not be just mere voting machines, but must grow into bodies where dialogue is fostered, which supervise the executive power and decide on laws based on facts. The voice of the legislators must be heard, especially in the process of European integration, and particularly with regard to monitoring the achieved progress. If we are not truly committed to the defense of European values such as peace, the rule of law, respect for human rights, solidarity, and tolerance, then the hate speech, the weakening of democratic institutions, and the distrust and disinterest of citizens to participate in democratic processes will continue to undermine our country's regional cooperation, but most importantly, our European Union. Bearing this in mind, our commitment to cherishing these values must be demonstrated through clear political will and concrete actions to prove that we are ready and determined to stand up for our institutions, and especially the Parliament as a body where decisions shaping the destinies of our countries are made. Dear friends and dear colleagues, thank you for your attention.